Did you know that sometimes the delay in your prayer's answer isn't because God hasn't heard you, but because an invisible spiritual battle is being fought in heaven as the answer is sent to you? In the book of Daniel, we see something incredible. Daniel prayed and fasted for 21 days, but no answer came. When the angel Gabriel finally reached him, he revealed why he was delayed. He had been resisted by the prince of Persia, a powerful spiritual force. Gabriel said, "From the first day that you set your heart to understand and humbled yourself before your God, your words were heard. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. Think about that. From the very first day Daniel prayed, God heard him. But the answer was delayed because a spiritual battle was raging. Could the blessing you've been waiting for be locked in a heavenly battle right now? Stay with me as we uncover the hidden realities of prayer, angels, and unseen battles in the spiritual realm. And don't forget to subscribe to Secrets of Heaven. Together, we'll explore biblical revelations that will transform the way you see eternity. Let's begin with Daniel 10:12-13. This remarkable passage gives us a glimpse behind the curtain of the spiritual realm. Gabriel explains to Daniel that from the moment he began to pray, his words were heard in heaven. But delivering the answer was not simple. It required passing through a battlefield of spiritual resistance. This is something we often forget. When we pray, we think the answer should come instantly, like a text message or a phone call. But the Bible reveals that our prayers rise directly to God, and the answer must journey back through spiritual realms that are not always peaceful. Revelation 8:3-4 gives us another breathtaking image of this process. Another angel who had a golden censer came and stood at the altar. He was given much incense to offer with the prayers of all God's people on the golden altar in front of the throne. The smoke of the incense, together with the prayers of God's people, went up before God from the angel's hand. Your prayers are not just words spoken into the air. They are sacred, eternal, and cherished. They rise like incense before the throne of God, filling heaven with their fragrance. But as Revelation shows us, delivering the answer may involve angels, battles, and perfect timing. Here's something to consider. What spiritual forces might be at work before God's answer reaches you? Imagine a messenger carrying a precious letter through a storm. The winds rage, lightning flashes, and obstacles appear at every turn. The letter is from someone who loves you deeply, and it contains words of hope and blessing. This is a picture of what Gabriel experienced when he brought God's answer to Daniel. He carried the blessing, but he had to fight through resistance to deliver it. This may be happening with your prayers right now. That blessing you've been pleading for, whether for a loved one's salvation, healing, or peace, could be on its way, carried by God's heavenly messengers. But battles in the spiritual realm may be delaying its arrival. The good news? No spiritual battle can stop what God has promised. As Gabriel told Daniel, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me. God commands his angels to fight on your behalf, ensuring that the blessing he has ordained for you will come in his perfect timing. But why does God allow delays at all? Wouldn't it be easier if every prayer was answered instantly? James 1:2-4 gives us a powerful answer. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. Delays are not denials. They are seasons of growth. Imagine a blacksmith refining metal in a fire. The heat isn't meant to destroy, it's meant to purify, to strengthen, to make the metal unbreakable. In the same way, the waiting period refines your faith, teaching you perseverance and trust in God's perfect plan. Think of a grandmother who prays faithfully for decades for her wayward grandson. She doesn't see the answer right away, but her prayers are rising to heaven like incense. Years later, that grandson comes to faith, and his life is transformed. In the process, her faith grew stronger, her relationship with God deepened, and her legacy of prayer became an eternal testimony. What about you? Is there a prayer you've been waiting on for years? Could it be that God is refining your heart even as he prepares the blessing? Revelation 5-8 reveals another stunning truth. The golden bowls full of incense, which are the prayers of the saints. Every prayer you've ever spoken is stored in these golden bowls. They are not forgotten. They are not wasted. Even the prayers you whispered decades ago, the ones you've long since forgotten, are still alive in heaven. But here's the mystery. Why does God sometimes delay the answer? Could it be that He is aligning events for a greater blessing than you could imagine? Imagine a farmer planting seeds. He waters them, tends the soil, and waits. Days pass, then weeks, but nothing seems to happen. What the farmer cannot see is that beneath the surface, the seed is growing. Its roots are stretching deep into the soil, preparing for the moment it will break through and produce fruit. Your prayers are like those seeds. Even when you can't see the answer, God is working beneath the surface. He is aligning people, events, and circumstances to bring about His perfect will. And when the answer comes, it will be in a way that exceeds anything you could have imagined. The book of Revelation gives us another glimpse into the unseen realm. Angels are not only messengers, they are also guardians of your prayers. They carry them to God, present them as incense, and fight to deliver the answers. Have you ever wondered why some prayers seem to be answered instantly, while others take years? The Bible suggests that the timing of the answer is part of God's perfect plan. Sometimes the delay allows for greater spiritual impact, not just for you, but for others as well. In heaven, you will see the full picture. You'll see how your prayers played a role in God's grand design. You'll see how the delay was not a denial, but a preparation for something greater. Pause for a moment. Which prayer in your life do you think is waiting in heaven for its answer? Is it a prayer for a loved one, for healing, for peace? Tell me in the comments, have you ever experienced a delay in your prayer being answered, only to see God's perfect timing later? Your story could encourage someone else. Here's something incredible to consider. Your prayers don't just bring answers, they release power in the spiritual realm. In Acts 12, we find a remarkable story that reveals the hidden strength of prayer. The Apostle Peter had been arrested and thrown into prison by King Herod. Chains bound him, Roman guards stood watch, and escape seemed impossible. But while Peter was locked away, the Bible tells us something powerful was happening. The church was earnestly praying to God for him. Now picture this, Peter is asleep in his cell, chained between two soldiers. The night is dark and all hope seems lost. But suddenly, a light fills the room, and an angel of the Lord appears. The angel strikes Peter on the side to wake him, saying, "Quick, get up." And as Peter rises, the chains fall off his wrists. The angel leads Peter out of the prison, past the guards, through the iron gate, and into freedom. It's only after he's safe that Peter realizes what has happened. In awe, he says, "Now I know without a doubt that the Lord has sent His angel and rescued me." What caused this miraculous rescue? It wasn't just the angel, it was the prayers of the church. Their earnest prayers unleashed divine power, setting Peter free in a way no human effort ever could. This story reveals a profound truth. Prayer is not passive, it is active, powerful, and transformative. When you pray, you're not just speaking into the air. You're engaging in spiritual warfare, calling down God's power to move in ways beyond human understanding. Now, here's something even more extraordinary. The Bible shows us that when believers unite in prayer, the power released is magnified. In Matthew 18, 19, 20, Jesus gives us this promise. "Again I say to you, if two of you agree on earth about anything they ask, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. For where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there am I with them." Think about that. When you join with others in prayer, your voices harmonize in the spiritual realm, creating a resonance that heaven cannot ignore. It's as if your prayers become a mighty symphony, rising together before the throne of God. Imagine a family gathered around a table, their hands joined in prayer for a loved one who is far from God. Their voices are soft, their words simple, but in the spiritual realm, their prayers are like thunder. Angels are dispatched, hearts are stirred, and circumstances begin to shift. Or picture a small group of believers praying for revival in their community. At first, nothing seems to happen, but as they persist, their prayers build momentum, shaking the heavens until God's Spirit is poured out in a way that transforms lives. Here's another revelation that will leave you in awe. Your prayers are recorded in heaven. In Malachi 3:16, we find a beautiful promise. Then those who feared the Lord spoke with one another. The Lord paid attention and heard them, and a book of remembrance was written before him of those who feared the Lord and esteemed his name. Did you catch that? There is a book of remembrance in heaven where the prayers and conversations of God's people are written down. Every time you whisper a prayer, every time you cry out to God, it is recorded in this book. This means that your prayers are eternal. They don't fade or disappear. They remain before God as a testimony of your faith. And even when you don't see the answer right away, you can trust that your prayers are still working, still alive in the spiritual realm. But here's the part that might surprise you. Sometimes, the delay in your prayer's answer is because God is preparing not just one blessing, but many. Think about Job. He lost everything: his wealth, his health, his family. He cried out to God in anguish, wondering why his prayers seemed to go unanswered. But what Job couldn't see was that God was orchestrating a greater blessing than he could imagine. In Job 42:10, the Bible says, "The Lord restored the fortunes of Job when he prayed for his friends, and the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before." Did you catch that? Job's prayers not only brought restoration, they unleashed a double portion of blessing. The delay wasn't a denial, it was a setup for something far greater than Job could have envisioned. Could this be true for you? Could the delay in your prayer's answer be because God is preparing a double portion of blessing for your life? So, the next time you pray, remember this: your words are not forgotten. They rise like incense before God. They unleash power in the spiritual realm, and they are recorded in heaven for eternity. And if the answer is delayed, don't lose heart. God is working behind the scenes, aligning people, events, and circumstances to bring about his perfect will. When the answer comes, it will be more beautiful, more powerful, and more life-changing than you could have ever imagined. Pause for a moment and reflect. What prayer in your life needs this kind of breakthrough? What blessing might God be preparing for you right now? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. And don't forget to subscribe to Secrets of Heaven. In our next video, we'll uncover the unimaginable ways God uses angels to move in the lives of his people. You won't want to miss it.